Hi everybody, it's Carl from ArtWorks of Northwood. Today we are going to stretch a 30 by 40 canvas. There's a few things that I've already done to prepare this canvas, first of which is print it. So let me show you the image on the front. And then something else I've already done is when I printed this image, I added 2 inches of canvas all the way around it. So it's 4 inches oversized. What I've done is I've made marks on the back in pencil, 2 inches in, 2 inches in, so that when I lay my strainer bars into it, I already have located the image within the canvas. That gives me enough room to wrap around the back, because especially with gallery bars, which these are about 1 5/8 inches thick, I like to do my stapling around the back as opposed to around the side, which is what is more classical on old paintings. That's not what we're doing today. Pneumatic stapler, here we go. The first thing I want to do is locate the center on all 4 sides. Pardon me. The way I learned, laying the staple in at a 45-degree angle, by the way, to the edges of the strainer bar, which gives you a better grip on the canvas. Locate our marks. So as I mentioned before, I like to actually stretch a wrinkle into the canvas during these first 4 staples, and then as you work towards the corners, you will stretch those wrinkles out, and that is what's going to give you your tightest stretch. Feel pretty good so far. So once again, we're hitting the corner, pardon me, not the corners, the centers on all 4 sides first, and that is going to set us up for success or failure. Try to keep the surface underneath the canvas as flat as possible. Canvas stretches back. All right, it's subtle, but I'll hold it up so you can see it. I don't know if you can tell. But I have about a diamond wrinkled into that. Now we're going to start pulling at the corners. Everything comes out from the center. I like to work on the long edges first. So I'm pulling in 2 directions simultaneously. I'm pulling down and I'm pulling out. So I want to keep readjusting that. The staples go in approximately 1.5 inches, 2 inches away from each other, and you just start to get a sense for it. Something you may also notice is that is not perfectly flat. That is okay, because the stress around the face of the stretcher bars will keep that canvas drumhead tight. Okay, we're keeping on moving down the road here. So I'm working towards the corner from both directions. Once I get equal distance-ish, then I start working on the other corner. Or the other side, should I say. Give a stretch, hold it down, give it a staple. Start working in both directions simultaneously now. Now we are not going to wrap our corners till we get to the end, and I'll show you how we do that. Once again, our staples are roughly evenly placed. Now we're going to work on the opposite corner. You always want to work on opposite sides. You saw as I was putting the first few staples in, I was going to the opposite side, I was going to the opposite side, because we're always stretching out from the center. Once again, I'm going to work on the long side and get that down to about equivalent to the short side, and then we'll start pulling more equally. You may or may not have noticed that the diamond-shaped wrinkle that was pulled into the face of the canvas with the first 4 staples is almost completely worked out, definitely in that corner, moving closer to this corner. Coming up, moving around. Keep pulling towards the edge, pulling towards the corner. Those are the tricks. And canvas stretches back. I can only do so many of these in a day. My forearms get tired. Where we are. Bring that down. Go one more towards the corner. And again, I'm not going to wrap my corners yet. I'm just going to get all the way into my corner. Oop. Time for a reload? Not yet. We could reload. These are very standard T45 staplers. $35 pneumatic stapler gun. You can buy a compressor for less than 200 bucks. If you're going to do any stretching of canvas, I highly recommend it. This is the kind of thing that you could do with a pneumatic stapler, or not a pneumatic stapler, but one of the big silver manual staplers, but you'll get tired very quickly. All right, as we keep pulling this sucker around, we are getting down to our third of 4 corners. Really, as I look, boy, woo, I've got a lot here, but wait till you see the face. Don't judge me yet. Keep pulling down the corner. To this side. Again, those staples are going in roughly 2 inches apart, roughly 45-degree angle to the edge of the screw bars, and we will definitely be able to bounce a nickel, bounce a quarter when this thing is done. So once again, we are at our 3rd corner. Not going to wrap the quarter yet. See how tight that is? And evenly stretch through the corners. Okay. Last time around. If you've done everything right, or at least reasonably right by this time, that last side, that last corner should go together without a lot of stretching. because you've already got the tension built into this thing, so that you're just doing a comfortable wrap at this point will give you a nice finished product. We are just about a couple of staples away from the end of this as we work to our last corner. Never want to stop pulling. in two directions, pull them that way, pull them this way. Because you get that nice flat edge. All right, a couple more on this side, and then we are going to show you how to wrap our corners. All right, this is the way I wrap my corners. I like to orient myself to the image. This is a corporate orientation image. So I think what I'd like to do is wraps on the bottom and on the top. I think that once this sits inside its float frame, which it's going to be going into a float frame, that will be the least visually obtrusive. So let me show you how we're going to do that. I'm going to get that corner pulled square. We will do our wrap. You want to kind of tuck in, I don't know if you can see that with my finger, I want to kind of tuck that in as tight as I can. Yank that over. And I generally put in about 3 staples on a corner. That's sufficient. Sometimes 2. Can you see that? We're going to do the same thing on this side. Again, we're going to pull in this direction now that we've determined which orientation we are going to do the wraps. Pull it over tight, press it back, smooth it out, pull it back one more time. I've got my 1, 2, 3. That is the first 2 corners. Okay, nice and tight. These guys I left a little bit loose on the end. I'm going to throw 1 in there. Let's throw 1 in there. Nice and flat. Get that crease. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Last time out. And that is the way that I learned to stretch a canvas around here. That's the back, and that's what the corners look like. And here we are, nice and tight as a drum. I want to thank everybody for their attention. Come on back and see me again.